Good morning, students.
Good morning, ma'am.
You are able to see my whiteboard?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. All right. So last class, let me give you a quick recap of what we did in Monday's class. So we started with the discussion of what did we really start off with? We started with the discussion of functional dependency. Then we saw the notations and some couple of examples on what exactly is a functional dependency. Then we saw what are the different inference rules. We tried to prove all of them, and then we moved on to normalization. So we defined what exactly is normalization, right? So I think that's where we stopped in the last class. Just to give you a quick recap on what exactly is normalization. I said it is nothing but you take any given relation and you try to analyze that based on the functional dependencies and the primary key to achieve the properties of minimizing the redundancy and minimizing the insertion, deletion, and update anomalies. These are the two important objectives of going in for a normalization. You minimize the redundancy. Also, you minimize the insertion, deletion, and update anomalies. Now, the one more thing that I was telling you towards the end of the class is, now this normalization, normal forms are themselves not sufficient to guarantee that the database is of a good design. It is generally not sufficient, okay, to check that each relationship, okay, if I say each table in the database is 3NF or it is BCNF, that alone is not sufficient. You should also take care of two important properties. The first one, as I told you in the last class, it is called as the lossless join, or you call it as non-additive join property. There are two properties that you should be taking care of when you do the normalization. Just the normal form alone is not sufficient. You should also take care of these two properties. One is called the lossless join or non-additive join property. The other one is called as dependency preservation property. This is where we stopped exactly in the last class. So I told you I will be telling about these two properties before we move further. So let us look at the most important property, which is called as the lossless join or non-additive join property. Okay. Now this lossless join means it should guarantee that, see, when I say a you will take the first one. We are taking a particular table. A table may have a lot of all these attributes. You try to check it for normalization. This table itself is not in the normal form. So I try to break it up into two different tables, and then I check this for normalization, this also for normalization. These two are normalized separately, but they may not be normalized when you consider everything together. That means what are you trying to do? You are trying to decompose this table into smaller parts. Decompose means you are trying to split the table. This table has got split into two parts. You are decomposed it. Now, when I say lossless join means you should ensure that when you try to decompose this, okay, you should not be getting, or you should try to avoid what is called as spurious tuples. Spurious tuples means what? That means when if I try to join this table, let us say, I should get back this, is it not? I have split this table into two. When I try to join these two tables, again I should get back the original table. When I perform a join on these two parts, if I get some additional tuples which are not valid, those additional tuples I call it as, or rather the invalid tuples, I call them as spurious tuples. Let us take a simple example. Okay. Let me say I will take one relation S1. I'm taking a very simple example. I have a table called as car. In this, I have ID is one attribute. Of course, that is the primary key. And then I have the make of the car. I have the color of the car. This is my table. Okay, let me also put down a couple of values for them. I have ID, make, color. This is my S1. Okay, let me give some values. 1, 2, 3 is the ID. Make is Toyota. Color is blue. Okay. I'm trying to make you all understand what is a spurious tuple. Okay. Next, I will take 4, 5, 6. Make, let me take as Audi. All right. Then I will take this also is blue, let us say. Next, I will take 7, 8, 9. This is again Toyota. Let me take some color red. This is my table. Okay. Now, as a part of normalization, let us say I try to decompose this table into two different tables. I try to split it, make it into smaller parts. Let me call that as S2. I will call this as car 1, wherein I have ID and color. Okay. I have another table called car 2, wherein I will make color and make. I have made these two tables. So let us say I will put down those tables also. I have ID. I have color. Okay. So ID and color means I should have 123 and blue. I should have 456 and blue. I should have 789 and red. Right? Correct, no? Like this I should have. Another, this is my car 1. I will show also my car 2 table, how it should look like. Color and make. Okay. So if I take color and make, then I should have blue Toyota. Then again blue Audi. Then again red Toyota. Right? This is how I will have. Any doubts still here? I said when we try to decompose a table, let me give you a recap of what we have done till now. I said normalization, if you simply normalize all the table, that itself is not sufficient to guarantee a good database design. You should also take care of these two important properties, which is called lossless join or non-additive join property. And then you have the dependency preservation property. These two properties also we should take care of. Now, we are talking of the first property, that is lossless join or non-additive join property. So, in case of whenever you are trying to do or trying to check a table for database for normalization, I told you already that you may have a particular table with all these attributes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have some table with 6 attributes. Now, this table may not get normalized in that particular form. So what I will do, I will try to split it or break it into two smaller tables. So this is one table where I have these attributes 1, 2, 3. Again, I have one more table 1, 4, 5, 6. I have these attributes. I have broken it into two smaller tables. Now I check these smaller tables for normalization. It is normalized. Okay. Now, when I try to join these two tables again, I should get back all the attributes that are there in all the tuples that are there in the original table. Correct? You have split that table. I can join them again so that I get back the original table. Now, when I try to join them, I may end up getting something called as spurious tuples. Spurious means what? You are getting some extra tuples which are not valid. So you should avoid such tuples. That is what we call lossless join or non-additive join property. You should avoid spurious tuples. You should never have any spurious tuples in your table. Now, coming to what is this spurious table? I said they are tuples which are not valid, which are extra, but they are not valid. Okay. So how can we generate that? How does it get generated? Let us see that. So I took a simple example. Car. Car is made of what? I have these attributes ID, make and color. These are the attributes of car. So I have taken these values ID, make and color. I have taken 123. ID is the primary key. So 123 Toyota blue, 456 Audi blue, 789 Toyota red. This is my car table. Now I'll break this table into two smaller parts, car 1 and car 2. What is my car 1? ID and color I have taken. Car 2 I have taken color and make. So the corresponding values I have taken it here. So till here I hope it is clear. Next what I will do, I will try to join these two tables. So if I have to perform a join on these two tables, which attribute I should join, I should join these two tables on which attribute? Anyone?
Color, ma'am.
Yes, very good. I should join them on color because color is the common attribute among these two. Now, if I try to join them using color, what is the what to say? What is the values that we will get? Let us try to put that down. Okay, so I am going to get. I will have ID, right? I will have color, and then I am going to have this make. So these are the three again attributes that I am going to get again. So if I try to perform a join on this, what all attributes, what all tuples I will get? First I will get 123 blue Toyota, right? That is my first tuple. If I join them based on, I am joining them based on color because color is the common attribute. Next I will get 123 blue Audi. Next, I will get 456. What do I get here? 456 blue Toyota. Again, I will have 456 blue Audi. Then I will have 789 red Toyota. These are the tuples that I will get. Correct? These are the tuples that I am going to get when I perform the join again. Now, look at our original table S1. How many tuples we have? We have only 3 tuples. When I joined, how many did I get? I got 5. How I can get 5? I should get only 3. So what is happening? 123 Toyota blue is the first tuple here in our original table. 123 blue and Toyota. Do we have that? Yes. This tuple we have. That is right. Second, we have 456 Audi and blue in the original table. 456 Audi and blue. Yes, I have that also. See here. That also I am having. Then I have the third tuple is 789 Toyota and red. 789 Toyota and red is also there. What about these two? We don't have these tuples in the original table. Is it not? 123 blue and Audi. We don't have this. This tuple is called as a spurious tuple. 123 blue and Audi is a spurious tuple. Similarly, 456 blue and Toyota. You don't have 456 Audi and blue is there. It is not there. This one is also not there. 456 blue and Toyota is also not there. These two tuples are called as spurious tuples. That means what? It is a invalid tuple. You should always, when you try to join, you should take care that you are not getting any spurious tuples. Okay. When will you get the spurious tuples? When will you get the spurious tuples? We will get spurious tuples whenever we are trying to join on a key that is not a primary attribute. You are trying to join on what here? You are trying to join on color. Color is not a primary key or a foreign key. It is not. Right? You are trying to join on a key which is not a primary key, basically. Whenever you try to join something on a primary key, which is not a primary key or a foreign key, then it will result in what is called as spurious tuple. So you should always avoid that kind of a join. So that is your lossless join, or the non-additive join property means what? You should avoid the generation of spurious tuples. Apart from normalization, whatever first NF, 2NF, 3NF, whatever you are trying to apply, along with that, you should also take care to see that you are not going to get any spurious tuples. Any doubts, anyone, on this? Because what is spurious tuple is very important to understand. Okay, whenever you create back the same original table after decomposition, you are decomposed it, you are trying to recreate or create the original table once again. That is when the spurious tuples will come into picture. In the original table, I have 3 tuples, means in my when I decompose and combine it again, even then I should get only 3 tuples. I cannot get 5 tuples because original table contains only 3. We cannot get 5. Here we are getting 5 because those 2 tuples are invalid. They are called as spurious tuples. Okay, that you should avoid. Dependency preservation property, the second property, which ensures that every functional dependency is represented in some table which results after the decomposition. Suppose I have 3 functional dependency. All these functional dependencies should still exist. Suppose I have, let us say, in this original table, I have 3 functional dependency. When I try to break it into 2 different tables, all these 3 functional dependencies should exist in one of them at least. Either here it should exist, or here maybe one functional dependency is in this table, the other 2 are in this table. That is also fine. So every functional dependency should be represented in some table which is resulting after decomposition. That is called as your dependency preservation. That is what we say, functional dependency should exist. If you had 3 functional dependency, the original table, when I decompose it into smaller parts, those 3 functional dependencies should still exist. It can exist in either of the parts of the table that you have done, but it should be there. That is why we are saying dependency preservation. You have to preserve those functional dependency. Okay. Now, out of these 2 properties, the first one, that is, I said, no, lossless join, that is it is a critical one. It has to be achieved at any cost. Should be achieved at any cost means what? Spurious tuples have to be avoided at any cost. Whereas dependency preservation is desirable, but sometimes it is not taken care of. Even then, it is still okay if you don't preserve all the dependency, but you cannot allow spurious tuples to come in. Okay, so these 2 are the important properties that you should know whenever we talk of normalization. Apart from normalization, the database should also preserve or follow these 2 properties. Any questions so far? Any doubts? Spurious tuples,
No.
clear?
No doubts, ma'am.
Yeah. Others, spurious tuples, it is clear. They will ask you, where it can be asked in your lab also, asking you to give a simple example. You should be, that's why I kept my example very simple. This is a very simple example. Why we resulted in getting a spurious tuple? Because we tried to join it not on a primary key. We tried to join it on some other, any other attribute we are trying to join it. That is why it is neither a primary key nor a foreign key. That is why it is getting resulted in the what is this spurious tuples. So never do any join on a non-prime attribute. Okay, right? And whenever you do that, it may result in the spurious tuples. Okay, right. So now let us move on with all this background. We will now move on to our first normal form, which is again, all these normal forms are very important. Please pay attention. So we are going in for the first normal form. First normal form, you can also write it as 1NF. Right? Now, what does, first of all, we should understand or we should learn, what does this first normal form states? What does it say or what does it state? First normal form states that, domain of an attribute. What is domain of an attribute? Anybody quickly?
All possible values it can take.
The permissible values that a particular attribute can take is called as the domain of an attribute. So first normal form states that domain of an attribute can include only atomic values. Okay? It should be an atomic value and it should be a single value. Only such values, attributes will domain of an attribute should include. Domain of an attribute must include only atomic. Atomic means simple and indivisible. You cannot break it further down into smaller parts. Only atomic and atomic values should be included for any attribute in a tuple. You cannot have multi-valued attributes. You cannot have composite attributes. You cannot have complex attributes. Nothing of this sort first normal form will allow. This is what the simplest thing that the first normal form states. What does it state? I repeat. It states that the domain of an attribute must include only atomic, that is simple indivisible values. Atomic means it can be a simple value. It should be a indivisible. That means you cannot break it further into smaller parts. And that the value of an attribute in a tuple should always be a single value. It will not accept any multi-values for an attribute. If the attribute is having multi-value attribute, then that means that particular table is not it is not in first normal form. It disallows, that means it will not allow having a set of values, a tuple of values or combination of both for a single tuple. In a single row, it will not allow multiple values. That is what first normal form states. Am I clear? It states that an attribute can take only single atomic values. That means single, atomic means simple, it should be indivisible. Only such values your attributes, all the attributes of your tuple should take. It should not take multiple values. It should not take a combination of values, a complex value, composite value, nothing of that sort. It should take. Is it clear? What does it state? That's all I have told. I have only told what it states. Now we will take up some examples to show first normal form. Let us take a simple table. Okay, I will take the same department table. We have been considering that. So department is a table. I will show simple example. So I have here D name. Of course, I have D number, which is a primary key here. And then I have, let's say, the manager's SSN. And then we have this attribute, which is D locations. Right? So we assume that a department in our, if you remember our ER diagram, this department locations was shown like this. Means what? It is a multi-valued attribute. D locations is a multi, here whatever we have shown here, D location. This is a multi-valued attribute. What is my functional dependency? I can always show it as, given my D number, I can determine what is the D name. I can determine what is the DMGR SSN. This is multi-valued attribute. So D location is a Multi-valued attribute means what? Every department can have any number of locations. It need not be a single location. Every department can have more than one location, right? Suppose I take an example of this department table here. Okay, let me write this table, department. I will give some values now. Okay. So we have D name, D number. Next is our DMGRSSN. And then we have D locations. Right? These are our attributes. Of course, D number is our primary key. So let me underline that. First is D name, MCA, let me take. Okay, we have, let us say department number is 1. The manager's number, I will put something like this. Okay, and then the D location. D location, as I told, it is a multi-valued attribute. I can have several locations of this department. Okay, then I can write something like this. Delhi, I'm just giving an example. Pune, Bangalore. These are all multiple locations, no? So this MCA department can exist in multiple locations. That is my first tuple. Okay. Now I will take one more record. Let us say MBA. And then I have department number is 2. Manager's number is something like this. And then location is Bangalore, let's say. See, every department need not have multiple locations. Some departments are located everywhere, some are not located just in one location. That is up to me, right? So I will just retain it as one location. Now let's take one more department, MTech, okay? So then I have here this, I will take it as 3. And then I take this MGRSSN as this. And then I'll put something, Hyderabad. Okay, this is some enough data. This is my data for that particular table. I have taken a table which has called department, which has attributes D name, D number, and the corresponding MGR number, and the department location. Department location, as we know from the ER diagram, it is a multi-valued attribute. Multi-valued attribute means what? That particular attribute can take multiple values, right? That is called as multi-valued attribute. So if I give a, if I take some example of data for this particular table department. So let me give D name as MCA 1, D number, MGRSSN, something like this. I give 2222, and department location, multiple locations. No, so Delhi also is there, Pune also is there, Bangalore also is there. But if you look at the second record, MBA 21111, and then I have given only Bangalore. So that means every department need not be in multiple locations. It is my choice whether I have it in different locations or I don't. This is our table. Now, as we see this here, this table is not in first normal form. It is not in first normal form. Can you tell me why?
Because of multi-value attribute, ma'am.
Yeah, D locations has multiple values here. What did we say in case of first normal form? First normal form states that the attribute should have only atomic values, single value only it should have, every attribute. You cannot have multiple values. Now, since this first record is showing multiple values, this particular table violates the 1NF because your D location is not an atomic attribute. It is not an atomic attribute. Okay, so now what are the different ways in which we can set this right, or what are the different techniques in which you can achieve the first normal form for this particular table? Just because a table is not in first normal form, we cannot leave it at that. We have to see how we can make it into a first normal form. All right, let us see that. So there are 3 main techniques in order to make this table as a first normal form. All right. So what is the first case? First thing is, I told you the other day when we were talking of the 7 steps of mapping, that time itself I told you. Anyway, so the first step is what? I will remove this D location attribute from the table. Okay, I will remove this D location, which this is the one which is violating the first normal form, correct? I'll remove this and place it in a separate relation. That means I will create a new table and place it there along with the primary key of the department table. That means my primary key will now become D number, comma D locations. I will make a new table in which I will push this D locations along with the primary key of this table. So the primary key of the new relation will now be what? A combination of keys, that is D number and D location. So now let us see. Suppose now what will happen to my table? Department table is there. I have removed this D location. So now my table will look something like this. D name, D number, and then I have what is that? DMGR SSN. Right? I have removed the D locations attribute itself. So this D number, this functional dependency will still hold here. D number, given the D number, I can determine what is the D name and DMGR SSN. I will be creating a new table, I said. So let me call it as department locations. So what this is going to contain? It is going to contain the primary key, which is D number, plus this D locations as an attribute. Okay, so these two together, this is your functional dependency. So these two together will now form a primary key. D number can get repeated, D location also can get repeated because D location is a multi-valued attribute, but the combination of one and D number and location cannot get repeated. Okay, so this is one important approach for trying to see to it that you bring the table into the first normal form. Now this table is in first normal form because all are atomic. D name is an atomic value, D number is an atomic value, DMGR SSN is also an atomic value. How will my table look like now? If I take these attributes, I will have MCA 1 and then 2, 2, 2, 2. Then I will have MBA 2, 1, 1, 1, 1. Then I have MTech 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. This is how my table will look. This is very much in 1NF. How about this table? D number and D locations. Okay. First record will be D number is 1. I will have Delhi. D location is Delhi. Then again I'll have 1. My location is Pune. Again I'll have 1. My location is Bangalore. Then I'll have 2. Bangalore. Then I'll have 3. Hyderabad. Like this I can write it. As I told you, D numbers can get repeated. D locations can get repeated. But these two together, combination of these two should not get repeated because these two together form the primary key. 1 and Delhi should appear only once. You cannot have 2 records showing 1 and Delhi. So now every attribute is taking just an atomic value. So this table is also in 1NF. So when we took this whole table, this table violated the 1NF was violated because of this delocations attribute. So we cannot leave it at that saying it is not following 1NF. So I break it up into 2 smaller tables. How do I do this? Since delocation is a multi-valid attribute, I push this delocations into a new table along with the primary key of this table. So the primary key of the new table will now become D number plus D location. So right, since I have removed it and put it in a new table, my department table will now look like this. D name, D number, MGRSS, and that's all, which is very much in one normal form. And the other new table that I brought in is department location. So there again I have pushed the D locations there along with the primary key. So I have D number plus D location. Again, this is in first normal form because every attribute will take only a atomic value. This is supposed out of the 3 techniques, this is actually the best approach to set right or bring the tables into 1NF. Any doubts? Okay, I said there are 3 approaches. So the first approach is this. Let us see what are the other 2 approaches. Okay. What is my second approach? One approach we have seen, that is the best approach. What is the second approach towards this? Okay, the second approach is in the same department table, I will, instead of making D number as the primary key, I will make D number comma D locations as the primary key in that table itself. Means in the department table itself, you had this department table, right? And you had all these attributes. D name, what we had, D number. Okay, I can go to the previous and show you. Yeah, in this department table, you had D name, D number, DMGR SSN, and D locations, right? What was the primary key here? D number. The second approach says that instead of pushing this D location into a new table, in the department table itself, instead of making D number as a primary key, I will make D number and this location both as primary key. These two together will form the primary key. Okay, so let me show you D number. Then we have DMGR SSN. And then we have D locations. I have made this as a, along with the D number, I have made D location also as a primary key. So which means what? I cannot put any multiple values here in D location. So how will my table look now? MCA 1, something like this, 2222, and then first I will write Delhi. Okay, then again I will write MCA. Again department number is 1, MGR SSN is 1, but now it is Pune. Again I'll write MCA. Department number is 1. This is 2222. It is now Bangalore. Next is what? MBA. That and all is not a problem. MBA, it is 2. This is 111. And then you have Bangalore, right? Then we had MTech 3, something like this, 3333, and then Hyderabad. This is what we had. Now this is my second approach. What have we done? Instead of putting it into a new table and doing a combination of primary key, I made this D number, along with D number, I made D location also as a primary key. So since a D location is a primary key now, it has to take only a single value which cannot get, and it's a combination. So D name, D number can get repeated, as you see here, 111. It's getting repeated, no issues. Here also you see these also can get repeated, but the combination of these two cannot get repeated. 1 Delhi, it has to come only once. Now, what is the disadvantage of this? Can you tell me? Anyone? What is the disadvantage of this approach? Second approach. Second approach, the same table we have combined primary key, we have made it as combination of keys. First approach we had pushed that out into a separate table. What is the advantage? And I told that the first approach is the best approach. There is a disadvantage here. What is it? Can anyone tell me?
Repetition is not allowed. That is why.
Come again, Kishan. Sorry.
The repetition is not allowed, so it is bad.
No, repetition is allowed. Repetition is allowed. See, as long as my D number is a combination of D number and D location is a primary key. So I can go on repeating 111, no problem. But 1 and Delhi should not get repeated. Again here, Bangalore and Bangalore I can repeat in locations. But 1 and Bangalore cannot be repeated. Right? Repetition is allowed. The main disadvantage of this approach is redundancy. We are doing normalization to, reduce the redundancy, is it not? But here what is happening? Look here, so many times this data is coming, MCA, all the time. All the time I have to keep writing 111. All the time I am, 111 is fine. But all the time I am writing MGR SSL. It is not required. Same department is in different locations. First approach is the best approach. Only those two attributes you are pushing it out and then storing the value. Whereas your department name and MGR SSN is only once it is stored. This previous approach, only this two you are trying to put it in a different table. Whereas in your original table, only once it appears. MCA 1, A2, 2, 2. That's all. But here what is happening? This MCA is getting, the department name is getting repeated. Department manager's SSN is getting repeated. Not required. It leads to a lot of redundancy. That is the disadvantage of this approach. Okay, that's the second approach. Now, the third approach, there are three approaches I said. Third approach. Okay, now third approach is nothing but, I said department location is a multi-valued attribute. If I get to know what is the maximum number of locations for a particular department, maximum, I can go on including that many attributes or that many columns I can include. See here what is happening. What is the maximum number of location of a particular department? It is 3. Because for MCA, you are having 3 locations, 1, 2, and 3. Whereas for MBA, it is only 1. MTech, it is only 1. Right? So, if you get to know the number of locations, then I can redesign this table in a slightly different manner, wherein I can write something like this. This is my department table. Okay, so I had taken D name. Let me retain that. D number, D MGR SSN. Till here, no issues. Okay, then I will take D location 1, D location 2, D location 3. So when I try to enter, this is not there. When I try to enter, okay, what do I enter? Department name MCA. Department number is 1. MGR SSN is 222. First location is Delhi. Second location is Pune. Third location is Bangalore. Next, MBA. Department number is 2. MGR SSN is 111. What is the location? Location is Bangalore. That's all. You don't have L2 and L3. Next, you have MTech. So here what happens? 3, and this is also 333. You have Hyderabad. You don't have this and this, right? This is the third approach. This is possible if you get to know the maximum number of locations. I know that for MCA department, maximum locations is 3, and no other department has more than 3 locations. I know that information prior. That is why when I do this table, I will try to include 3 different columns for the 3 different locations. DL1, location 1, location 2, and location 3. What is the disadvantage of this part? Now it is very much in first normal form. So this is another solution. But what is the disadvantage of this? Anyone?
If we couldn't know the maximum location, ma'am.
Very good. Excellent. If you do not know the maximum number of locations, then you cannot go in for this particular approach. If you do not know, I knew it, so I could include 3 attributes. If I had not known, then how many attributes should I go on including? That is one disadvantage. Is there any other disadvantage in this particular approach? Any other disadvantage in this particular approach? Anyone? Okay. What is happening here? See, what's happening here?
Null
Not
value, ma'am.
entering any values.
Yeah, what?
Some of them
Not
are empty.
null. Is it not? Your null values will increase. There may be very few departments which are having multiple locations. Let us say here we have taken 3 departments. Only one department is having multiple locations. All other departments, let us say, are having just 1. then what will happen? It will result in something called as a null. It will result in lot of null values. Sometimes it can even become some kind of a sparse matrix where your null values will become more. Right? That's a big, again, null values means you are wasting space. Storage is wasted again. So that is another big disadvantage of this third approach. So two disadvantages here. One is you should know the maximum number of locations in order to include that many columns or that many attributes as part of your table. That's first thing. You may know, you may not know also. If a new department, if the existing department starts a new location sometime, then what to do? Is it not? That also is a problem. Then the second approach is many of the departments may not have multiple values. In that case, it will result in null values. So that's the second disadvantage of this particular approach. So these are, out of the three approaches, the first approach is the best approach. These are the three. Of course, this is very much in first normal form. This table is in first normal form because all the attributes are taking atomic values, single values. Right? Any questions so far? So let me quickly summarize. We said that first normal form states that domain of an attribute should have only atomic values. Simple, indivisible, single value only. It cannot take any other value. So then we took an example of the department table where we know that D locations is a multi-valued attribute. So then we took the original table of department wherein we saw that MCA is having 3 locations here. So this table is not in first normal form because D locations is violating this particular first normal form. So how do we avoid this? We saw 3 different techniques. First technique and the best technique is what? Remove this multi-valued attribute and place it in a separate table along with the primary key of the table. So this will solve all the issues. So the existing table will also now become will be in first normal form. The new table will also fall into first normal form. So there are no issues at all. Even if a department starts a new location later at some point of time, that also can be added very easily in the new table. So this is the best approach. The second approach that we said was what? What did we say in the second approach? Yeah, instead of making D number as a primary key, along with D number, make that D location also as a primary key. So you will have a combination of primary keys. This is very much in one normal form. One normal form, that problem is solved. But instead, on the other hand, what happens? It results in some disadvantages. It is going to leave you in lot of redundant information being stored. Same value you are storing again and again. For example, the department name and the MGRSSN, unnecessarily you are storing it twice, which is not required. Then the third approach is what? If you know the number of locations already beforehand, then you can create that many attributes or that many columns in your table. So now there are 2 disadvantages. One is you should know it before only. If you don't know, then you cannot design the table accordingly. Second is it will result in lot of null values because there may be several departments which do not have multiple locations at all. So again, that will result in some kind of a null value. It may going ahead, it may also result you in sparse matrix kind of thing, wherein the null values are so much that it will result in sparse matrix. Okay, so these are the 3 different approaches in order to resolve that one error. Now, out of which the first approach is the best approach, as I told you. Any questions so far before we proceed? Any doubts? Anyone?
No, ma'am.
This first normal form is very important. You have to always support your answer with some examples like this. Take simple examples which you can write on your own. Okay, you don't have to go by whatever is there in textbook, whatever I have given. Not necessary also. You can produce your own examples, but be correct. That's all. Right? Now, let us continue. Now, this first normal form, we said that it is not going to allow multi-valued attributes. It will also not allow composite attributes. Composite means what? An attribute will have several components. Is it not? That kind of attributes also first normal form will not allow. We saw one example for multi-valued. Now I am saying it cannot include composite. Multi-valued attributes which are composite also it will not allow. Multi-valued attributes which are in turn composite, it is not going to allow. That means what? These are called as nested relations. You have a multi-valued attribute that is in turn a composite attribute. It has several components, which is nothing but which are called as nested relations. Because each tuple can have a relation, one more table within it. That is nothing but your nested relation. Okay, such things also your first normal form will not allow. Let us take an example for that also. Okay, right. Now let me take a table called as EMP project. Okay, right. Next I will take SSN is one attribute, ename is one attribute, and then you have, this is your projects ka details, wherein within that project is one attribute. Okay, projects. Within this project, again I have P number is one attribute within that, hours is one attribute within that. So this is EMP project is a table which is a nested relation because there is an attribute called as projects. This projects is an attribute which is in turn having two attributes called as number and hours. So each row will represent an employee entity and it will also represent a relation project which contains P number and hours within each table. Are you getting? That means it represents employees, projects and the hours per week that employee works on that particular project. That is what it is going to show. How do you represent this? If I try to write the schema of this, it will something look like this. EMP project is the table, right? In this you have SSN, you have ename, then you have this attribute called as projects. Now within this project, okay, this is a multi-valued attribute. Now this project is a composite attribute. That is what I said. You have to understand carefully. In this you have P number and hours. This is a composite. Close it with see, the components should always be closed within this parenthesis. That is your rounded bracket. Okay, multi-valued is always closed within this flower bracket, and then all the attributes you are closing that. See carefully, you listen here. See this notation. What we have written, how do you write the schema of this relation? EMP project is the name of your table. Okay, in this you have an attribute called SSN. You have an attribute called ename, followed by you have a set of flower braces within this, right? So within that is actually used to write multi-valued attributes when you write a schema. When you write an ER diagram, it is double oval. That is different. Projects here is a multi-valued attribute. This project, which is being a multi-valued attribute, is also a composite attributes. That is why within this you have again put a parenthesis. What are the components of these projects? It is nothing but P number and hours. So it is a combination. That's what I said. Multi-valued composite attributes. This is an example for that. It is a multi-valued attribute. Project is a multi-valued attribute. It is also a composite attribute. So every value will also have P number and hours. Now this is not allowed in case of first normal form. The first normal form gets violated at this point. Let me show an example. So I have here SSN. I'm taking the values now. I have ename. Then I have projects, no? The project has P numbers and hours. P number and hours, correct? And this whole thing is projects. Right? Now this project is a multi-valued attribute, which in turn is a composite attribute. How can I take this value? Let me say 1111. Okay. E name, I'll take something Ram. Project number 1. Hours is something 70. All right. Next. This Ram can work on more than one project, multi-valued. Project itself is a multi-valued. 87. This becomes my one entity for 1111. Similarly, I can have 222. Okay, Sita. Simply I'm writing, huh? Don't take that into this. So third project, she's working. Let us say 45 hours. She's also working on the second project. This is 52 hours. Something. So this is how your table will look like. Projects is a multi-valued attribute which in turn is a composite attribute. So it has two components, P number and hours. So this SSN is the primary key of employee project relation, while P number is a partial key of the nested relation. For this, P number is your partial key. So how do you put it in one normal form now? How can this is violating one normal form because this is not allowed in case of one normal form. So I will try to bring in two different tables. I'll decompose it. One table wherein I'll have just the SSN and E name. That's all. This is now very much in 1NF because both these attributes are taking atomic values. I will create one more table. Let us call it as EMP project 2. What I will put here? SSN. And then these two attributes I will bring in here. P number. And then we have hours. Okay, here these two together will become the primary key. SSN and P number together will become the primary key because P number is a partial key of this particular project's relation. Okay, so you will make these two together as a primary key. That means what? SSN can get repeated, P number can get repeated, but both the combination of these two cannot be repeated. It will be something like this. I will show you. 1111 170. Then you have 1111 287. Then you have 2222 345. 2222 254. See here, this number can get repeated. This number also can get repeated, but combination of 1111 and 1 can appear only once because it is a combination. This table is very much in 1NF because every attribute is taking atomic values. Here also, this is in 1NF because you have 1111 Ram, 2222 Sita, over. This is also in 1NF. Right? So what does this say? First normal form will also not allow a combination of multi-valued composite attributes. You have a multi-valued attribute called projects. That is also a composite attribute having the components P number and hours. So again, that kind of an attribute is not allowed in first normal form. So you will have to decompose it into a couple of tables, one or two tables, and then see to it this first normal form is satisfied in both the cases. Any questions? So till here you have to write about, if they ask you about first normal form, you have to write till here, not just the first case that we took, multi-valued attribute. You should also write this combination of multi-valued with kind of nested relations, no? That also you should write. Take a simple example like what I have done now. It will become very easy for you. So this is about first normal form. Any questions, anyone? Any doubts? Any doubts, anyone?
No, ma'am.
Okay, it's a very important topic, even in from the point of examination. First questions on first normal form will for sure come. Not only that, from the exam point of view, even in your when you try to do some projects and try to normalize it, you should always take care to see that your tables are minimum first normal form. That is the bare minimum I'm saying. That is not sufficient, but you have to do at least a first normal form when you do any project, when you have a lot of tables in the database. Right? Anaga?
Yes, ma'am.
Abhilash? Ashwin? Abhilash is Ashwin?
Yes, ma'am.
Akrut? Anusha?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
Arvind?
Present, ma'am.
Harikula?
Yes, ma'am.
Ganaka?
Present, ma'am.
Banu? Bhargav?
Yes, ma'am.
Rahmatullah?
Present, ma'am.
Chaitra? Yeah.
Present, ma'am.
Chaitra? Yeah. Chandana?
Present, ma'am.
Charan?
Yes, ma'am.
Darshan?
Present, ma'am.
Diksha is present. Dakshayani?
Present, ma'am.
Kishan?
Present, ma'am.
Harshit?
Present, ma'am.
Hema?
Present, ma'am.
Uma?
Present, ma'am.
Divya?
Yes, ma'am.
Kaushik?
Present, ma'am.
Lavanya?
Ma'am, Zayan.
Okay. Jayant, I left you. Yeah. Okay. Manish?
Present, ma'am.
Manoj?
Present, ma'am.
Mohit? Naval?
Present, ma'am.
Navya?
Present, ma'am.
Nikhil?
Present, ma'am.
Panindra?
Present, ma'am.
Pavan?
Yes, ma'am.
Pooja?
Present, ma'am.
Purnima?
Yes, ma'am.
Raman?
Present, ma'am.
Rashmi?
Yes, ma'am.
Rupak?
Yes, ma'am.
Sai Kumar?
Present, ma'am.
Samir?
Present, ma'am.
Santosh?
Present, ma'am.
Chadar?
Present, ma'am.
Sharan? Shashank?
Present, ma'am.
Sheetal?
Present, ma'am.
Shivani?
Present, ma'am.
Soumya?
Present, ma'am.
Spurti?
Present, ma'am.
Vishnu?
Present, ma'am. Mic issue, ma'am.
Sugandhini?
Present, ma'am.
Sushma? Sushma? Yeah. Sushmita BS?
Present, ma'am.
Sushmita U?
Present, ma'am.
Tirtha?
Ma'am.
Tripti?
Present, ma'am.
Rashavina?
Present, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay, who is present here? Diksha is present. Lakshmi is present. Lavanya is present. Mohit is present. Jayant is present. Sushma is present. Right? Abhilash is absent. Okay, then who else? That's it. Abhilash is absent for today. Right? All right. So tomorrow is lab. So we'll be starting with the next exercise. That's it. Okay, we'll see. I'll see you all tomorrow in the lab session afternoon. Right? Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am.